So my name's Graham Peacock, and we are here just outside London in a studio which is part of Abacus. And I am a sound engineer of varying types. I'm also an artist manager, which covers production management at times and all the budgeting and stuff. And yeah, I've done so many things in my life. Recently started doing some stuff in TV as well. So I'm a man of, some would say, few talents, or maybe one or two talents. But yeah, I've kind of managed to scrape my way through. When I was a kid, I just had a natural affinity for music. I remember my parents were always playing music. And for my 3rd birthday, I got a recorder. And I just picked it up and played Beethoven's Ode to Joy, the main melody. And so, you know, I hadn't planned that. It was just something that happened. And as my life progressed, more and more music came into my life, as in I was getting given instruments and stuff like that. And eventually my brother decided he was going to play guitar and played it once. And then I ended up picking it up and playing something on it. And so my musical journey began. And I was very fortunate that when I was 14, my school, which was not a great school, needed something to be proud of. And so the head brought in this incredible music teacher. And on the first day, I went to say hello to him. And he said, "Great, I'll see you tonight." And I was like, "Well, why?" And he said, "Orchestra practice." And I said, "I can't play anything orchestral, you know." And he handed me a double bass and said, "Now you can." And that's how it went from like the rest of my school life until I left sixth form when I was 18. I was just presented with new instruments, new challenges, and by the time I'd left school, I'd probably paid 500 or 600 gigs. And so it was obvious to me that this was something I needed to do. And during this time, I had a natural affinity for technology. And so I was kind of the go-to student for selecting PAs and for fixing things and for kind of making things work. And it was also during that time that I had my first kind of studio experiences and did some TVs and stuff. So it was a very intense 4 years, during which time I gained an immense amount of experience, went on tour and did all kinds of crazy things that people can only dream of. When we were at school, we went to a lot of concerts. So we used to go like once a month to the E&O in London and see opera and stuff like that. And we had a ton of artists that came and played at the school, ranging from jazz to orchestral to all sorts. But the first one I remember putting my hand in my pocket and spending money on was Stevie Wonder, which I think was the Hotter Than July tour. And I remember it so clearly. I was in the Brighton Centre. I was up on the balcony and I sat there, and the band was like on in holes sunk into this stage, which was like a 45-degree angle, and they just popped up on pneumatic lifts. And it was the first taste of proper shows, and you know, the lighting was incredible. And then Stevie Wonder came out, and I was just totally blown away by this experience of this is how you do it, you know, rather than being a bunch of school kids that we were previously. Kind of like, even though we're playing some nice venues, you know, this was a production, and no one made any mistakes, and it was a complete, for me, life-changing experience, which I think set me up for the career that I ended up taking. I've been involved in sound for over 30 years, and my first professional experience was me taking a chance. I had persuaded someone to give me a lot of money to build a recording studio. Now, I had knocked on somebody's door beforehand, and I knew they were building a studio, and I said, "I'm going to help you build," and he let me help him, and I understood then how to do it. So I built this recording studio, and I finished wiring the desk in at about 5 a.m, and then I sat down to read the manual to work out how to use the desk, and the band turned up at 8 a.m, and it was a chunk of Gary Newman's band. He was a big artist at the time. And I kind of managed to get through it, but I did make one mistake. I forgot to route guitar and bass separately, so I kind of routed them to the same 2 tracks. And I do remember in the mix, the guitarist said, "Can I have a bit more guitar?" And I was like, yep. Pushed the fader up, and nobody noticed the bass went up at the same time. I got away with it, and that's been the story of my career ever since.